Well, hello, everyone. Hello, everybody. I'm glad you're here. It is Whimsy, and today is my birthday. Woohoo! And to celebrate my birthday with me, I am here with Joyce from Joyce All-Knowing Tarot. Welcome, Joyce. How are you today?
Thank you. Thank you. I am fantastic. How are you?
I'm really well. I was playing around last week looking at videos, and I saw your videos, and I really like the way you read. So I'm so glad you could come and talk with me today.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Can you tell us a little bit about you? What type of a reader are you, for starters?
Um, well, I'm more of an intuitive reader, psychic medium, and so I will do um, if someone has crossover, if they want to come. Let me just say that because a lot of times people will contact me to, speak to their deceased great aunt or grandpa Jojo or whoever. And as you probably are aware, just because you want to speak to them doesn't mean that they want to speak to you. Not because there is ill will, it's because people have to want to come through. But then I also do numerology, which I just have a passion for, and that's from being a teacher, and tarot.
Wow,
hmm
wonderful. When did you first realize that you could do this type of work?
Oh, very young. At very young age, I was a sickly child in the hospital and all of that. And one of the biggest times, and I was 2, and people say, there's no way you can remember that, but I do. And I had to get my tonsils out. And then things started changing when I was about 7 or somewhere between 7 and 9. And I had this dream that I was at a TV station, going to be in the audience of a TV show, and there was a lady sitting down. It was like on risers. I was at the top of the risers, and she was going to do something with some cards. And I knew cards at that age because my parents played cards all the time. And the host of the show said, pick someone to come down and do the cards with. And she pointed at me, and I remember going and it was still a child. And I remember walking down the steps and walking to the table, and she said, "This is what you're going to do." And I really didn't understand what was going on, but I remember her. She still looks the same way with bright red lipstick, and she had white hair that went like it was curled back, like the old style curl back type of dudes. And she had black clothes on. And from there, I woke up, and then anytime I would have a dream if something was going to happen, this lady told me her name was Mary eventually, and I'll call her Mary, would call me. It would be a dream, and my dad or mom would call me to the phone. And at that age, 7, 9, 10, all of that, you're not getting personal phone calls. But they would answer the phone and they would tell me it's a phone call. And then she would tell me, someone is going to pass away or this and this is going to happen. And sure enough, it would happen. And I come from a family of that. My grandmother and my mother were very into astrology and the feeling. They would talk about feelings of people. I guess energy is what they were really trying to say. And it just came from that, and it just has grown. I put it on hold uh, um, probably in the 80s, in the 70s, 80s, because I went to college, University of Nevada, Las Vegas, and so that had to go on hold. Then I taught school for, oh goodness, about 32 years. Was a
Wow.
teacher, principal, vice principal, and I still would do it in between. Like someone would say, "Oh, their birthday is such and such a day," and then I don't just tell them what their life path number was or whatever. But I wasn't doing full on readings at that point anymore. I was just engaged in life and raising 4 daughters, that was a handful. And then a couple of years ago, I started watching readers on YouTube. This is right in the middle of the Trump thing, including yourself. I watched you, and there was a young lady. I don't know if she still has her channel. It was called Third Eye Champagne, and
Oh, I love
she
her. Yes.
was good. She was very good, and she had Linda G on there, and Linda G was really good. And yeah, that's who I would watch. And Lena Rodriguez, that was also another young lady I would watch. And I would be doing the cards at the same time you guys were doing cards, and I'd be either in alignment with you, in agreement, or not. And my kids are like, Mommy, you could do that. You always do that. And so it took me a while, and I finally jumped on to doing YouTube. And that
Great.
was a year ago, actually.
Awesome. All
Yeah.
right, so I'm excited. So you have my numbers, obviously. I'm born March 22nd, 1963. I'm an Aries. Um, I,
Okay. So,
yeah, I like when you do a numerology reading, like with me, like what would you see for a reading? I
okay. So I'm going to just do it, and then I'll tell you as I go along. How about that?
okay.
So
Thank
before
you.
I do, I always do this because I just like to know who I'm talking to. So I pulled my angel cards, and this came up for you. If you can see that, I don't know if you can.
Not focused.
Let's see. It's not focusing so well, but it is Horus, and it says Cosmic Gateway. And it says for you, your thoughts are magnetic and powerful, and miraculous changes are occurring. And I think that is what you're right in the midst of now. If you can see Horus, Horus is an owl. You know, the wise old owl. He's very pure. He's been through a lot. Saying that you're an Aries is not surprising because he's almost suited up in essence. He is an old soul, which tells me you are an old soul. This is probably getting close to your last incarnation here.
Thank
You
God.
get incredible downloads. You see that?
Yeah.
Incredible downloads come to you, and I think that you know that. You're some kind of a visionary, I guess, is what it's saying to me. Your heart chakra is very open, but you're very perceptive. You know, the owls sit back and they're in the dark, but they're in their way their head turns around and they see everything, and that is you. So that I pulled before you and I even got together. So as I look at your birthday, what I do is I write it in, standard form, 3/22/1963. So number 3 is indicative of from birth to your first Saturn return. So during that time, with that number 3 there, it says that you were super creative. You were uh, talkative, communicative. You always had these ideas or plans that you were trying to come up with. I don't know how much of an alignment that was with your family, but since it's sitting there, it says that okay, if they must have been okay with that, or they said okay, that's her. We're going to let her be her. You were a type of person that would go out and go get things and make things happen for yourself. You didn't sit back and wait, like a lot of women do, to be picked like a flower. You just would go for it. The number 22 is a master number. So in that case, I ordinarily would not add this together. Because we're going to do your life path, we're going to add them all up. But 22 is a master number, and it is what I'm telling you. You're just about done, my dear. The number 22 says that you are a builder. You are a natural teacher. You are here. You're part of the light system, or you're a light worker, and you're doing your job right now. And that was from the time like 40s, 50s. What you're doing right now is bringing attention to, everyone, allowing everyone to see that there are people out here that have skills, gifts, talents. And let me just say, talents that everybody has. I'm not doing anything any different than anyone else could do. I just put more energy into it. But people come to you all the time, whether they want suggestions or advice or what have you. You're the builder upper. You build up everybody. Anybody that you touch is going to grow, grow, grow. And then 1963 says that's a number 1. And so you're going to do what you do best, is you're going to be a solo person. You're going to still be out there going and getting and moving and doing, planning and making it happen. You prefer actually to work alone. And this is as you get into your 60s and until you transition, you prefer to work alone. You like to be alone, and you be alone and not lonely at the same time. Sometimes you will find that you will be selfish. Okay. Sometimes it's good to be selfish for yourself when you need to take a time out or whatever, but you can be a little bit selfish as well. And then if we add them across, you're a
I'm an
number 8.
Aries.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So you're a number 8 life path. And I can tell you guys, she is absolutely a number 8 life path. The 8 life path is like the architect. the builder, like in her number 22. She's the director, she's the executive. So when we came in, she was like helping me get my light right and change to a different camera and this. None of it was troublesome. She knows how to direct in a way that you're like, okay, sure. Yeah, she's always been like that. Sometimes though, Whimsy, you can be a little harsh in the tongue. That's a number 8 can be a little bit
Yeah,
harsh
I
sometimes.
know
And it's not
it.
that you're trying to. It's just that you have a directness
Yeah.
that for some people that are thinner skin or a little more sensitive or what have you, it feels a little bit, ooh, you know, wow, she bossy, that type of
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
And then you are going into a number 1 year. So this is fantastic because a number 1 year says that last year you closed up a lot of doors and you stopped doing some things you didn't want to do, or you had some things leave out of your life. And that is supposed to happen because we have a cycle 1 to 9. And in the number 9 cycle, it's the endings of everything. So you start a fresh new cycle. So this year, my suggestion to you is to start planting the seeds of what you want to do, like this talk show. I don't know how long you have been doing this, but this would be something that may work out for you. But if you started it in your number 9 year, like prior to this, it may not last as long. I'm just putting it out there for you, but you are the master of your own destiny. But it's a number 1 year. It's time to come up with some great, fantastic ideas, plant the seeds, and then water and nurture those seeds all the way. Because when you get to the number 8 year, you'll get a great harvest from that. Stay focused on maybe just 1 or 2 real key things that you have a passion, and put all the focus and all the energy into those things, and you'll find much success. And
Wow.
that,
Thank you so much. That was amazing.
you're very welcome. I hope it resonated with you.
It did. Well, I think it resonated also with my audience. It was like, that's Whimsy. She got Whimsy just fine. So I wanted to go ahead and maybe just talk a little bit about the spiritual path, and maybe we can throw some cards, do some blitzes. I don't know, but what do you really feel drives you as a reader? Like, what do you really feel that you're called to?
You know what? That is an excellent question because I've got an energy class going on now. It's an energy healing, energy reinvigoration. Okay. And it's really about finding what your saboteurs are and working to eliminate those and replace them with something positive. So, for example, my number 1 saboteur is a controller. That's my thing. And those comes from childhood patterns and childhood situations, what was going on when you were growing up. And so as I'm saying, I'm letting that go, all of a sudden you pop into my life, and this is how the universe works, uh, to say, I would like to do this, and you are in control of this, or you are running this, and this is something that I would never have done or allowed in the past. So I am learning to let go. And I think all of us are on a spiritual journey. And I have so many people that will contact me about what's my journey, where am I going, this and that. And I try to make them understand that you are on your journey right now. And if you stay in the present, let go of the future, your worries will go away. Let go of the past, which is gone. You did it or you didn't do it or whatever, and let it go. Snip the cords of those bonds and those energy connections from those people that are still draining you. You won't have that depression or, guilt or whatever. Everyone is on a spiritual path. We all came in here one way, we're all going out one way. We came in alone, we're leaving alone. And so if you say, well, where can I put my best possible energies into my life? That's your spiritual journey. It starts with forgiveness. I'm a big lover of A Course in Miracles, and that's one of the key things. They talk about how important it is to forgive self and others. And then it goes to loving self and others. Now, loving others doesn't mean that you have to have tea with them or we need to go to the mall or whatever, but we have to love them as part of humanity, because at the end of the day, we're all connected. There's only one source, and we're all are a part of that. And so that is what spirituality means to me. And the other night, I was meditating before I was going to go to sleep, and this feeling just rose up over me. This energy was, like this. And I got up, and I could just feel this sense of gratitude, this sense of, oh my goodness, all these people's lives that I have touched in one way or the other in the classroom with just thousands of children. And then the adults who I give personal readings to, or who are my personal friends, or who come to my classes, to know that, oh my goodness, you don't think about it because you're so busy on to the next, on to the next, and we don't give ourselves enough credit. And to know that, oh my goodness, I touch people. This is what I'm here for. This is what I'm here for. Okay, I get it. So, yeah.
Wow.
Hmm.
So when you look at the energy of the United States, because we went through a lot of stuff the last couple of years,
Hmm.
as a reader, where do you think we're headed? Where do you think we're headed with the Biden administration? Where do you think we're on the right path? Do you think we're still lost? I mean, what do you think?
Okay. So my feeling is a little bit, maybe a little bit different than most, but I think that there was first of all, Trump came into our life, our world, as a lesson. The universe put us on pause and said, look, because there is a mirror effect that what you see in someone that you don't like, you got it too. What you see in them you like, you have it too. It's exaggerated. It has to be exaggerated. The universe has to make it that way so that you pay attention. But you need to really pay attention with self. As far as this C19, I'll put it like that. I think that correlates with that. Like, okay, I put this in front of you all. You're not seeing, you're still not seeing, you're picking sides and you're feeling this way and that way, but nobody's picking internally. Like, do I do that? Do I say that? Do I have that attitude or what have you? And so then we get the C19 to say, we're putting the world, not the United States, not Michigan where I am, but the world had to go on pause and do a reset. And I think now we are easing into reset slowly but surely, because being lost in that energy, that Trump energy was dark and dank and it was toxic. And so it was very draining. I don't know about you, but for myself, by the time after elections in December got here, I had to take like a couple of weeks off. I was like exhausted from it all. Um, in terms of Biden and where he's going, I think Biden is the healer, like the transition person. Like if you break up with this person and then you hurry up and jump in another relationship, that's a transition person. And I think he's transitioning us into Kamala Harris, whether we know it or not. Just the same way he sort of was the transition for an acceptance to Obama. Although Obama came with great knowledge and education and charm and very attractive and all of that great things, they still had to put Biden on the ticket for a certain population to be willing to accept him. And so now I think that Biden is doing what he's supposed to be doing, whether he knows it or it's subconsciously working through or super consciously, that he is leading us into the path to Kamala Harris, because the feminine energy is just crazy and it's growing more and more. So that's what I think. That's
Yeah,
what I feel.
you might be right. So I think what we'll do is we'll start with maybe do a tarot reading on the Biden administration. We can look at it from a spiritual perspective, what's going to be accomplished. Did you want to do the prayer before we start, or do you want me to do the empath prayer, or do you have a prayer you like?
You can go ahead and do it because mine is just for my invocation.
Okay. I'll go ahead and do the empath prayer, and then we'll go ahead and take a look at the future of the Biden administration. Sound good?
Sounds fantastic.
Okay. I want to call on white light protection for myself and Joyce as we ask permission from Spirit to access the Akashic records. We call on our spirit guides and good angels to be with us. Give us the clarity and the wisdom that is needed to empower Joyce and I on our journeys, to make the best decisions for ourselves, this community, the planet, and the people we love, but also to help those we may have strife with. And together we say, Amen.
Amen.
The future of the Biden presidency.
So as I'm sitting here, I'm hearing short-lived. So short-lived is what I'm hearing.
Really?
Hmm.
You want to go first? You can.
I am just washing what I call washing my cards.
You want me to go first while you do that?
Sure.
I actually see a really successful presidency in terms of policy with Joe Biden. By April, you can see my April card is the Four of Wands moving in.
Mm-hmm.
So we get our wish by April. You know, I'm thinking with what's going on with COVID right now, that the vaccines are happening. So didn't he produce something like 100 million new vaccines
Yes.
not released?
Yeah.
That
Mm-hmm.
saying that everyone is going to be able to have a vaccine by May. I think it's going to be more like April. So sorry. The other thing that's really good about his cards is that, well, I'll let you finish what you're doing.
Go ahead. I'm listening. I'm listening.
Are you done? Are you done shuffling?
Mm-hmm. Pretty much.
Okay. Yeah, so we have so by April we get our wish in this administration. You're right about strong female energy with Biden. Look at this, how much woman energy. This is the first house. A lot of female energy with Biden, sound judgment in the Biden administration. There's an Ace of Cups here, like the birth of something new. Look at this, the birth of the new Constitution. It's
Mm-hmm.
almost like a brand new spanking new Constitution where it gets a thorough cleaning, kind of like when the Statue of Liberty had to be scrubbed from top to bottom. You can
Right.
see this coming in with the Hierophant, which is my ethos of the nation, a new birth. Look at this, there's a woman coming in. Strong female energy.
Mm-hmm.
Also strong scholarship energy coming for the Biden administration. The business world is really trying to control this. Hopes and fears that we will be betrayed. Six of Cups, someone receives an offer. It's like a soulmate card as an outcome. I don't see death for Biden. I don't see, look, the guy is older.
Mm-hmm.
He'll complete his term when he's 82 years old, which I don't think is that old the guy's in jogs every morning, but I could see him not running for a second term and then endorsing Kamala Harris at the primary. But
Yeah.
I don't personally see in these cards a tower or anything like that. I do see him giving an offer here to support somebody, possibly endorsing somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Some confusion over scholarship regarding money. There's some disagreements about the financial sector.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think what's going on is that he and Kamala disagree on. She's much more of a policeman when it comes to the financial sector. That's what I get.
Okay. So I have the Eight of Cups, and the Eight of Cups tells me that he made this sacrifice. Like, I was okay retired. Okay. I was okay retired. Everything is good in my life. I didn't need the attention. I didn't need whatever. But then he decides, you know what? I think I'm going to have a higher calling. I think I have a higher calling. And I think that he went within and made this decision and then came and made the announcement to everyone. He may have talked to his wife, of course, you know how that goes. But this is him saying, I'm going to go and do this. Then I have the Magician for him, which I love this for him. This is that terrific Mercury energy that he came right in working fast. And just like I saw him doing, just working very fast, really having everything it takes to be the president. It's his time. He's sat on the sidelines in the sense of in the Senate and the VP and everything else. And sometimes I think when you're VP, not all the time your voice is the number one voice heard. But now he's ready. He's got everything. He knows what best to say, what not to say. Because sometimes Joe can say can say some strange things. I'll put it like that. Maybe not so nice things. He just kind of gives me that energy. But not, right now, he's ready. Okay. And what he says he is going to do is what he's going to attempt to do. So that is good. And I think a part of that, of this saying this, I'm going to do what I said I'd do, has caused him some, a little bit worry and anxiety, which I would anticipate. I would not want to have someone as my president and they're so arrogant and I know I'm going to get this done. I'd rather have someone lose a little sleep over, everything that's going on right now, because he's come in with a whole, dirty bag of laundry and having to sort it out and figure out. In terms of the money, I agree. I think they're doing a lot of studying and figure out what to do with the money or the economy. This could be school too, as far as I know that he was talking about uh, student loans, something in that area. But it's around money that they're really having to sit down and have this real, let's come to Jesus meeting maybe with each other, and probably so with each other, because here we see in collaboration, looking at this is what we've done. They appreciate what they've done, but what more can we do? So they're looking at themselves and they're evaluating themselves, and they want to help as many people as they can, but they still have worries. And number one, I'm going to tell you, this is the kids that are still more children in at the border that can't get in or what have you. These are the things that keep him up at night. And so, like I said, I'd rather him be up at night concerned about these things than not at all. And it's about him trying to be orderly and trying to bring stability back into our lives as well. So that's what I see for him right now anyways.
So when do you see him? Do you think he's going to complete his term? Because right now I'm not get. I know intellectually people are worried because, hey, the guy is so 78, 70 years old, but the cards themselves don't. I mean, like the base card, getting our wish in April. Like same thing as you. The scholars are confused in
Mhm.
relationship to what money. There's a heartbreak here he's having regarding the loss of his relationships in the Senate. I
Mhm.
think that was really rough with him. This
Probably.
is like the McConnells, the people that he did business with. He's old school. He's like the school of John McCain. You were
Mhm.
and you respected each other, and that time has come and gone.
Yeah, but at the same time, and it's in with what you're saying, he's got the fool card. Like I'm gonna do it anyways. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna take the chance. I'm gonna take the leap. I'm going ahead. I don't want to carry a lot of baggage of what we did before with the Obama administration. I want to start fresh at whatever risk, it whatever cost. I've already, told everyone in my family that I'm going to do this. I love these people, but I'm going to do this. So he's taking that. And then you've got the strength card that says, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do it my way. I'm going to almost in a sense, because this is like Obama, right? This is like the Leo card. Like I'm not going to do so much like him. I'm going to do like me. Okay. That's feminine energy. That is eternally him. That's purity, purity of heart, purity of mind, but I'm going to do it my way. I have for him though this, and this to me does not indicate death in upright. For me, this means instead of me focusing on my ego self, which we all tend to work out of that, I want to let that part of myself go. And I don't want to just say I'm working for the people. I really want to work for the people. I think he knows that, he's a person of a certain age. And I think that he's learned a lot about really life is more about giving than it is about taking, and trying to get in the spotlight and trying to be famous and trying to be this and that. And I think that he is very clear that for this, because it's the mudra. So what you see is not really what is going on. And so we see that even in this chakra form, it's like he's in alignment with himself. And instead of me, like I said, being a braggart or whatever, I want to serve the people. And so
Do
I
you
can't
think?
say to you, I'm going to say, oh, he's going to live or he's going to die or this and that. That's not what I do.
Yeah, I'm just worried about that. For me, that card can also be betrayal. And I know
It
a lot
can
of
be.
people they don't want him to succeed. Do you
Hmm.
want us to do just a throw? We'll do one more throw.
Sure.
Do you want to do one throw on just the future of Kamala and Harris and what's going to become of her future?
Yeah, because we haven't looked at her so much lately.
So, what do you have for Kamala Harris?
For Kamala Harris, I interestingly have the Nine of Pentacles, which is fantastic. The Nine of Pentacles says that Kamala has made it on her own. She has just put in a lot of work. She worked from the mud up and she just has become very successful. She's very proud of herself, but not in that prideful way, but in that way of, oh my goodness, I did it. I knew I was going to do it. She stands alone in her field as being the first female vice president and could be the first president. She has in control of her environment. She actually, that kind of smiley energy she is very full of bright and joyous energy, and she absolutely loves what she is doing. She's a true manifester, a true leader. Number nines always tell me they stand on their own. They did it on their own. So she didn't come with a silver spoon in her mouth. She had to come up the hard way, and she put in the work of the discipline. Then we have the Lover's card next to her that says, number one, she loves this. She loves this. It's anything that you really wanted to happen, you love it, as well as we will love her. And sixes is also, this is the Lovers, which is the number six. It also is about choices. So some will choose to and some will not. But if you take a look at this, I don't know how good you can see the card. The female is looking up to the angel. This is the angel. This would be indicative of the God energy, the universal energy. The angel female is looking up, and that says to me, female energy is going to lead the way on making sure that we're supportive of her, and the males will look to us to decide what's the best way to deal with Kamala in whatever position she holds now or in the future. The only thing that I see around her, lastly, is the Five of Cups. Fives indicate passing energy. It's going to be a passing energy. But there is a part of, and I think that you get this, Whimsy, that when you finally get what you want, you're happy, but then you're kind of a little bit, this wasn't what I thought it was going to be, or this might be a little bit harder than it was, or there's some disappointments that come with it, and that could be from name calling or ideas that she might even put on the table with Biden that has to be pushed back, just like his had to be with Obama, that part. So that's what I'm seeing for her. Very good for her.
Wow, thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
She is certainly a remarkable person. Do you think that she will be president of the United States someday?
I do. I do. I do. I think that whatever happens with Biden, I think, and as I mentioned before, that he is a bridge person, if that makes sense. He's the person that bridges us or whoever he's working with to something else. And I think that that will be the case in this case. And he may become tired. He may become ill because I have been seeing him kind of tired. And that she might have to take on some additional duties. So, but I do see that happening for her. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow, amazing. I just wanted to transition now to some other questions that people have had. One of the questions that's come up a lot has to do with student loan debt. For example, I'm like 58 years old, just had my birthday, but I still have, a ton of student loan debt. So for what's happening, I think, in the United States is that a lot of people can't even buy property. What do you want to throw on the debt? What do you think is going to happen?
Yeah.
Changing attitudes about education in the United States, maybe? Let's go ahead and take a look.
Well, let's look at first at what's going to happen with student loan debt. And belated happy birthday.
Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for the reading, by the way. It was awesome. I'm not that, I don't know how, see, I'm trying to learn to be selfish. In the reading, it said, you're really, really selfish. I thought, but I give 20% away. It's like, I'm trying to learn now because my financial situation is disastrous because I never learned how to be selfish. So now I'm learning how to be selfish. So I think in a way, because of what happened to me in my life, having that extra oomph of selfishness is probably what saved me, I'm thinking.
Yeah, and I think that
Self-preservation.
it's not only a being of selfish, not in the sense of being like a little kid, give me that toy, give me that, not that. It's the fact of learning how to be selfish. Sometimes we as people uh, have a tendency to put everybody else's need first. We say yes, 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 yes. When somewhere in there we should say no. We do this kind of sacrifice dance all of our life, and we forget that we got to put our mask on first. So in that aspect, you should glory and relish in that. I'm gonna do me, folks.
Yeah, that's what I'm learning now, and I'm so glad. I've slowed my life down so much, and just make your life simple, take care of your neat self, and take care of others when you can. So, but all right, let's take a look here.
Yeah, that part right there. You said when you can, when you can. Student loan, and one more.
Oh wow, I got good stuff.
Okay, let's see what it got. What it got. Yeah, okay, I could see this. Do you want to go or do you want me to go?
Yeah, I think there's going to be money here. You can see the cards actually pretty darn good. There's some strong energy moving in. The Karma card is actually the King of Swords, which is logic, reason, it's military. It's also it can be a surgeon's card. But what's interesting is the Page of Pentacles is coming in. They're going to figure out some scientific or logical way to pay for this. You can also see the Masters at work here, which is the Masters card in the first house, and there's the Education card, Five of Wands, exchange of ideas. Final outcome is the Magician. Yeah,
Okay.
I think that what's going to happen is we're going to come up with a creative way to pay to raise funds for our education department. That's what it looks like.
Mm-hmm. And I'm looking at it from the student point, and I've got the Eight of Swords that says that we are lost with it. You just said it so perfectly. You can't buy a house, you can't do this and that. It affects your credit scores. And so we are lost and can't find a way out of it. And then I've got the Six of Pentacles where, let me see if I can see that better.
Yeah.
Six of Pentacles where it says, you know what, they are going to come up with a way that's going to help. It isn't going to be a race. I don't see that happening. I think I've got the Fool cards, and they're going to take a chance on something they haven't done before. They can't give it all away. They can give, though, what they have extra and who really needs it, because you can see that there are, let's see if I can get this card better.
Yeah,
maybe that's better. Yeah, you can see that there are two beggars and one is getting and one isn't. And so it says that we're going to have to decide, if how long ago perhaps did you take this loan out, and is that forgivable? Or did you take the loan out, 2 years ago? Now you want us to forgive that. There has to be some discernment to create the kind of balance that they need. Whatever they're going to do, they're definitely going to do it. We got the Eight of Wands. It says that is a yes card if I ever saw one, and it will happen quickly. It's going to have a lot of energy behind it to try to make some type of significant change. And ultimately, we got the Seven of Pentacles. They're going to be looking at money. They're going to be looking at investment. It kind of supports this one. How are we best going, after we figure this out, how are we going to best, I don't want to say dole it out, but I guess I said it already. So I see some change happening. Yeah, for sure.
What do you think the solution is to so much of the education crisis that we're facing today in this country? I think a lot of why people are so easily manipulated, the problems with racism, the history of racism we've had in this country, and also shockingly high levels of illiteracy. And our illiteracy is increasing in the United States. I think we have some of the highest illiteracy in the industrial world, if I'm not mistaken. Can you just talk about that, since you're an educator?
I can. I absolutely can. And that's a great question that you ask. And I feel personally that we can put the racism part in it, but I kind of, and I know that is true. for sure. But there's something bigger going on. And I feel like the whole system, school system itself, needs to be either eliminated or reworked. Schools began in the day way back when it was supposed to be there so that people could learn like to work factory life. When the bell rings, you do this. When the bell rings, you do that. You need to be in this place, that place. And that still goes on in school. The bell rings, you go in, bell rings to lunch, bell rings to resume. You have to be in this line. You have to walk this way. You have to sit in this seat, raise your hand. And so we're being trained to be sheep. And you're a great sheep. And really, to me, it doesn't even matter what the school is. You're still being learned to be sheep because there's a certain level of society, and I'm going to say that magical 1%, that the haves want to keep the have-nots down. So if we can select what we teach you, right? Because the hunter tells the story, not the lion. If we select what we teach you, if we erase or eradicate certain different nationalities, cultures, what have you, out of education, you'll be taught in this particular way. You'll value this. And as we spoke before, you leave out a tremendous amount of fantastic authors and poets and mathematicians and ideas that are outside of the box, where we have to just continually with this, this, and this. And so much so that they're even taking away cursive writing. They don't do it in school anymore because either you're on the computer or you're not using it. And so we're learning less and less. I worked in a fantastic charter school, the number one charter school in the state. They were fantastic because they could pass the proficiency test like none other. And this was an urban school. This was about 98% Black students, which I love working in urban schools. Those are, for me, the best students because they work their hardest once you get them in the seats. But they could pass all the proficiency tests, all those SATs and the statewide tests, but they couldn't spell the word Wednesday, or they didn't know anything about Native Americans. And that is the way the curriculum was set up. And then we also have what your state's curriculum is, as well as the federal curriculum, which is the core curriculum is what they call it. And you as a teacher are to adhere to that. Me as a teacher, no, we worked outside the box, and I got in this information and I got it to them in the best way that they could receive that information. Then I was open to what they taught me as well. So I think the system needs to be eradicated. If we're going to teach kids, or if they're going to be online, or however they're going to do it, right now all you're teaching them is how to look stuff up on Google. You're doing a fantastic job with that, but we don't have encyclopedias anymore. We don't have the great novels, and we're like in the same age group. You and I know when we were like middle school or high school, we had to read classics, and so it's just it's not real positive right now. It needs a reworking.
I feel like with the new administration, though, we have to come together as a nation. We have to create a soul for this country that is not divided. And I really do feel that the only way to do that is if we share our stories. They are our stories. They're the stories of this nation, and they're the story of our ancestors that built this nation. And we have a responsibility to remember them and to remember their struggles. Because without them, we wouldn't be having the great life we have right now.
Absolutely. That's why each group has storytellers, not just in Africa, but in Africa, in Native American cultures, and Latino cultures, and so forth, European cultures. We have great storytellers, and we don't seem to have that anymore. It seems like everybody would rather be on the computer scrolling and commenting, or, whatever. And we need to have storytellers again.
I love tarot readers because tarot readers are a throwback to the village storytellers, where they would take the pictures and there were so many archetypes. You could write the story or create the story in real time. So,
absolutely. I agree with you. I agree. That is the reason why I just love tarot. There's all kinds of different tarot cards out. But before you learn how to read tarot, you need to get to the basics and get the basic Rider-Waite deck so you can really see what it was. We have Pamela Coleman Smith is the artist, and she worked with weight. And by the way, she is part Jamaican, so that she's
Good
part
job.
uh, woman of color. And so there's so much, so many symbols. And you know this, there are religious symbols there. And I'm a big fan of Greek mythology,
Oh,
of
wonderful.
Norse mythology, and it's all right there for you. The thing is, though, it's one thing to read the card, or try to memorize what everything means. A real storyteller, a real empath, a real intuitive, a real psychic individual, and psyche just means of the mind, can go in here and the cards will speak to us. And I
Yeah.
think that's what we see mostly on YouTube. The card is speaking to us and we tell the story from there.
Wow, wonderful. Well, Joyce, thank you so much for spending the day with me. I'm sorry about the computer glitches.
No
We had
problem.
to shoot this in 2 stages because Zoom crashed a couple days ago. But I'm so
Yes,
glad you could make the time to complete the interview. Can you
absolutely.
tell us a little bit about how to reach you if people are trying to get a reading?
Sure. Well, what I do is I just have everything sent to my email. So if you're looking for a reading or anything, you can email me at Joyce A. Cullen, Cullen, Adams @gmail.com. And I'm sure, Whimsy, you'll put it in the description
I
box
will, absolutely.
so that they can. And then I do tarot. I look at your birth chart. I do numerology. Please listen to the numerology on The Good Doctor here. It was a great numerology reading. And
Loved it.
yeah, they can reach me to there.
All right. Well, thank you so much.
Oh, by the way, I also do classes.
Oh,
Can I quick throw
lovely.
out that I do classes? I forgot that I do classes.
Absolutely.
We
Yeah.
do an energy healing class that we're finishing now, which has been amazing.
Oh, wow.
I do numerology. I do tarot, and we finished an incredible advanced tarot class. And so we do that as well. And when I'm getting ready to do it, I will let you know when we'll have them up so that you can decide if you want to be a part of this movement. It's a movement to make life better for all of us. If I
I
can serve you,
absolutely agree. I'm so glad to connect with all the readers that I think we all share a lot of the same core values, and it's nice to see us using these creative and wonderful talents to help empower people and fight the good fight, as
absolutely.
they say. All right. Well, thank you so much. And thank you,
You're welcome.
everybody, for tuning in. If you try to get for a reading with me, you can go to tarotwithwhimsy.com and be sure and share, like, subscribe, and click the bell notification so that you can be notified about future videos here at Tarot with Oracle of Whimsy. Excuse me. Thanks for watching, everyone. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye now.